Okay, hey, good morning from Bangkok, Thailand. JJ, the Lonely Bull in Asia. Thanks for joining me today. Um, we're going to talk a lot about the little hacks that I've found just the short period of time I've lived in Bangkok, and from observing and listening to other YouTube channels and things like that. So I'm glad you can make it. I was having trouble with my camera. I couldn't get my camera to work. So I was going to switch to my phone camera and then I couldn't get that to work, but I finally got my camera to work just in the nick of time. So I got my coffee. It's Sunday morning. It's a Buddha day today. So it's a holiday and normally what that means is no alcohol sales. So if you come here on a day where there's a Buddha holiday, you're not going to be able to buy alcohol. Now, they have changed that. I just read yesterday that the government has decided that businesses that rely mostly or solely on alcohol sales will be allowed to sell alcohol on these Buddha holidays. And those Buddha holidays are today and tomorrow are two the two that are coming up soon. And I think they're called Visakha Buka Day, which is today, and then Monday, tomorrow is Visakha, the Buka holiday. Um, so Buddha Day and Buddha holiday. So that's going on today and tomorrow. But if you go down to Nana or Soy Cowboy or Soy 11, I think they are able to sell alcohol. So we'll see what happens. So thanks for joining me. Let me know if the video and the audio is okay. Um, it sounds good in my ears, but I just want to make sure that we're live on the air and doing okay. Um, but we're talking about hacks today, and hacks are little tidbits of information that I've picked up in the few months that I've lived here and the almost 3 years I've been visiting here. That has really been it's really helped me out a lot. And so, if you're planning on traveling to Thailand anytime soon, hopefully these little tidbits of information will help you. So let's start with number one, and then if you guys want to comment, and I'll open this up too to any questions you guys have or any comments you guys have, just let me know. I am battling some allergies today. It's been really rainy the last couple of days. Boy, it stormed like crazy yesterday evening. I went to 7-Eleven across the street, and I was gonna hit the train and go down Sukhumvit to Prampong or a Sok area, but boy, it looked really bad. So I just went to 7-Eleven, got some food, and I got back just in time. I mean, it was. If you're a Midwest guy in the States, you would look at that and think, "Oh, tornado warnings," because the sky was black. I took a video of it. I'll post a short on that. The video doesn't do justice to how dark the skies were. And then when it started pouring rain, I couldn't even see across the street out of my condo. It was so heavy, and the winds were so strong. But that brings me to my first hack, first little tidbit. 7-Eleven. Don't uh, don't take 7-Eleven lightly here in Thailand because it's a lifesaver. I tell you what, it's not like the ones you see in the West. You can go into a 7-Eleven here and you can get all kinds of food and pretty good food too at decent prices. It's got you can get liquor there, beer and liquor. You can get pharmaceuticals like different medicines and over-the-counter medicines and Band-Aids. And I got this at a 7-Eleven. I got my wrap. So, and the really neat thing is the 7-Eleven Toasties. I don't know if you've heard about this or not, but those 7-Eleven Toasties are they're little packets of toasted ham and cheese sandwiches. And you buy them and they're only like 30-40 baht, so less than $1. And you take them up to the counter and they'll toast it for you right there at 7-Eleven. And then you eat it. It's got the melted cheese and the ham and the toasted bread. Oh, and it's really, really good for less than $1. So If you haven't tried the Toasties yet at 7-Eleven, I encourage you to try. They've got different brands, different kinds. They've got the ham and cheese, which is the one I like, but they also have the veggie ones. So they got like cheese with spinach or things like that, which are pretty good too. But I'm a carnivore, so I like the meat. So I got the ham and cheese. But don't uh, don't take 7-Eleven lightly. It can be a lifesaver. Like last night, before the storm hit, I was able to go to 7-Eleven, load up on some groceries. Um, so good morning, JJ. Sound is good. Thanks, John. Thanks for watching. We got 8 on board right now, so that's good. That's a good start. We're talking about little tidbits of information that will be helpful for anybody coming to Thailand. That really helped me out when I first started coming here, and then when I moved here back in October of last year. These things really helped me out. So we'll just go through. I got like 11 or 12 of them, and we'll just kind of intersperse those between our conversation on chat. So feel free to message me on chat, and we can talk. I enjoy that more than anything is talking with you guys on chat. It's a nice day today. It's like I said, it's Sunday morning. I got my coffee. It doesn't look like it's going to rain anytime soon. It's a little cloudy, a little overcast, but not bad. I think we got the most of the rain out of the way last night. I did get a chance to go early yesterday afternoon and get groceries, and I'll post a video on that and kind of compare prices and see how it compares to where you guys are. But I went to the Lotus. They have a huge Lotus store off of on Newt on Sukhumvit, and it's about 3 stops from my condo. So I got just the bare essentials. I got some oatmeal, milk. I got some laundry detergent. I needed that. Toilet paper. I got some sandwich bread and meat, and some tuna, canned tuna. What else did I get? Mayonnaise, cheese, just the essentials to get me through a couple of weeks. I don't want to load up too much, and I don't have any cooking utensils here. I've got the dishes. I got plates and bowls and spoons and forks and knives and that sort of thing, but I don't have pots and pans. So I want to go out and get a couple of those things, and that way I can start cooking at home. So once I get that done, and I was kind of pricing some things yesterday, I'll go buy maybe a wok or maybe a skillet and a pot, a kettle to boil, cook a pasta in and things like that. And then I'll get some meat and things like that and start doing some real cooking at home. So I'm debating whether I should do that now or wait, because I want to change condos at the end of October when my lease is up. So Kiki and Jasmine, hey, welcome. Thanks for joining. Have I ever been to northern Thailand? I've been as far as Chiang Mai. Almost said Chiang Mai, which is my place to go to in BGC in the Philippines to have beer and chicken. Down on Forbes-town. Yeah, Chiang Mai. I've been to Chiang Mai a couple of times. I'm planning on going back there in June, on June 17th, actually. There's a vlogger there that him and his brother, I want to meet. And they do a great vlog. They do great videos on YouTube about how to improve on YouTube and how to be successful on YouTube. So I definitely want to meet them and kind of get in their head a little bit on some strategies and that sort of thing. Their names are Nick and Dee Nimman, Nimman, I believe. But they each have channels, but they do a live stream every Saturday night at 8:00 here, and it's very, very educational for YouTubers. So if you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel, or if you have a YouTube channel and you want to grow it, I would definitely check those guys out. But I'm going to be back in Chiang Mai middle of June. I'll be there for a week. My plans are, in the first week in June, go down to Hua Hin. I got some buddies here that we want to go down there and go golf. And then I got a friend coming from the Philippines. He's coming here to Thailand. He'll be here I think he's going to stay the whole 90 days and kind of do a little traveling around. So he's going to be in Hua Hin also. So I'm going to head down there the first week in June and then middle June, fly up to Chiang Mai. Super convenient, super cheap flight. Cost me $54 for a round trip ticket from Bangkok to Chiang Mai and back. So really cheap. And then in July, uh, Geo in the Philippines, he'll be here. I think he comes in on July 23rd, and him and I are planning on doing a trip to Cambodia. Neither one of us have been there before, so I think the plan is to check out Siem Reap and Angkor Wat, and then go to Phnom Penh and spend some time in the big city there. So I'm kind of excited. It's going to be a fun-filled summer for me, so I'm super excited about it. So anyway, let's get back to the hacks or little tips about Thailand. Now, one thing I didn't know when I first started coming here is, you have the VAT tax, and most Asian countries have a VAT tax. Hang on, I'm going to turn the AC on. It's getting a little warm in here. Okay, turn them both on. I get the double whammy here. Yeah, they have a VAT tax in most Asian countries, and here in Thailand included. But what I did not know is that when you leave, keep your receipts on anything of significant pricing, and you can go before you go through immigration. I believe when you leave the airport, you can turn in those VAT receipts and get a refund for the VAT tax. Now, I'm not exactly sure how it works. I'm going to have to do a little digging, a little investigating on how that all works. But from what I understand, is that you can for high dollar items that you purchase, you have that 12% VAT tax, you can get a refund for that. So that's kind of a cool thing. It's almost like getting a refund on your income tax. So if you load up on merchandise like electronics or clothes or whatever, I'm not sure what the categories are that are included, but just save those receipts. And when you leave Thailand, you can turn those in at the airport and get a refund. So that's what I'm hearing, at least. So, all right. Rain, yeah, I'm in Thailand right now. I came back about a week ago on the 4th. I flew in on May 4th early in the morning and got back in my condo here about 3:30 and just fell in bed. So I've been here about a week now, exactly a week. I got in here last Sunday. And you know what? I've already lost 10 pounds. I gained so much weight being in the Philippines. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I was drinking a lot more beer and eating out a lot. Here I'm eating local. I'm eating Thai. I'm not drinking nearly as much as I was before. So that's been a good thing. So I've lost 10 pounds. I've weighed myself this morning, and I'm almost embarrassed to say I was at 213 pounds. That's the most I've weighed in a long, long time. I think the most I've ever weighed was back when I first got divorced back in 2012, and I weighed like 225 or something like that. And I didn't, and you don't realize it really. You think, oh, every time I wash my clothes, they shrink a little bit. No, it's not the clothes shrinking. It's me growing. Leon's getting larger, but I didn't realize it until I'm sitting in my cubicle. I was working at a university doing a call out, kind of a call center type thing, and I'm sitting leaning back on my chair, and somebody had taken a picture and sent it to me, and you could see how fat I was. It's like, oh my God. So that was the aha moment. Made me decide that's it. I'm going to start losing weight. And so I started walking and exercising, and then I got down to like 190, which anything under 200, I feel pretty good. My joints don't ache or any of that. But then when I went to Vietnam and then to BGC back in the Philippines for the last 3 months, I really put on the pounds. So I'm happy to announce that I'm at 203 and working on. I got about 18 more pounds to lose, and I'll be in great shape. So Philip, yeah, I'm doing great. Philip, doing fantastic. How are you doing? Where are you guys watching from? That's a good question to throw out there. So, as we go over my little hacks that I've discovered over the times I've been here in Thailand. Um, so I've kind of put the Philippines in my rearview mirror now. I just don't see me going back there for any long period of time. I went back this last time because I was familiar. I was familiar with the embassy where it was at, familiar with Manila, and I needed to extend or I needed to renew my passport. So I went back there and I mailed it in, and it was a pretty simple process after I figured out where to mail it from. Um, but actually, it only took I rented my old condo for 3 months. I did a 3 month rental, and because I thought, they said like maybe 8 weeks, so I had been there a week already, and but it only took like six, maybe not even six, maybe 5 weeks total from the time I mailed it to the time I got it back, and I got both my passports, my old one and my new one. So that was a pretty easy process, but that was the main reason I went back to the Philippines, also to see some friends and people. But I just don't see me going back there any extended period of time. Maybe just to visit for a week, maybe here and there. But I don't see the Philippines being in my future anymore. It's just, that boat is past. I think is the phrase they use. That ship has sailed. I'm happy here in Thailand. I love Bangkok. It's a great home base. It's cheap. I'm paying 370 US dollars a month for my condo here. It's kind of small, but it's under 40 square meters, but it's got what I need, and the facilities are fantastic. Great pool, great workout facilities, great co-working space. It's got a little coffee shop on the first floor. Yeah, it's got everything. I'm literally right outside the MRT, the yellow line. I can. I don't even have to be in the elements to get on the yellow line, and that takes me one stop to the BTS green line, which is Sukhumvit, and then I, the whole world's open to me at that point. I can go anywhere I want in Bangkok. So it's a great home base. Like I said, $54 round trip to fly from to Chiang Mai and back. I can take a bus for, I think it's like 500 baht, which is like $15, down to Hua Hin. I could fly there if I wanted to because they've got an airport there. It's like 3 hour drive. It's less than 2.5 hours to get to Pattaya if I wanted to go there, and I can go pretty much anywhere. I mean, so this is a great home base for me. So I'm super super happy about being here. Now my lease ends at the end of October here, so I'm thinking about actually getting a larger place. Since I'm not going to be splitting time between here in Vietnam or here in the Philippines anymore, I'm just going. This is going to be my one base, and then I'll do trips every once in a while to other places. But this will be my home. I'm going to get a bigger place, spend a little more money, but have a nicer place so I can set up a real studio here instead of using my dining room table and being right in my living room. Hopefully, I can find a place, and I want to get something a little closer down on Sukhumvit, maybe on Nude area, Ekamai, Tonglo, in those areas there. It's going to be a little more expensive, but since I'm only going to be in one place, I'm okay with paying more. So I can pay, 800 or 900 if I wanted to, and easily take care of that. Now that should get me something really nice because literally the cost of living here is a lot lower than it is in BGC in the Philippines. So you guys are in BGC, heading back to Ireland. Okay, wow, cool. So are you Irish? Is that, I don't know if you can see my Irish flag back there, right behind the Buddha. um, I didn't realize you were Irish. So cool. If you are, I don't know. Is that your home in Ireland? Is that you're going back home then, Kiki and Jasmine? Awesome. So I love Six Nations rugby. I love watching that every year. I just wish the season was longer. I think they only play like 5 or 6 games or something like that. But that's my favorite. Every February, I think when it starts, January, February, I watch that for a couple months. That's my game. That's my team right there. So yeah. So here we go. Let's do it the right way. Slancha. I don't have a Guinness. That's another nice thing about being in Thailand. You've got more options for beer than you do in the Philippines. Philippines, basically, you got San Pale Pilsen or Pilsen, you got San Light, you got Red Horse. And then once in a while, you can find a restaurant or bar that serves Heineken or maybe Stella Artois or maybe Corona. But it's hard to find a Guinness. I was able to find a Guinness at a pub. I use that term loosely in the Philippines as far as Irish pub. It wasn't really an Irish pub, but they did have Killian's in a can. So I had to settle for that on St. Patrick's Day. My timing was horrible. I wanted to be back in Thailand, in Bangkok, on St. Patrick's Day, and I missed out on that. I missed out on Songkran again 3 years in a row now. I haven't been here for Songkran. So next year, next year for all of those. The best part about the Philippines is Christmas season because they start celebrating Christmas in September, and they do it upright. So that's what's really cool. Okay, going back for my niece's Holy Communion and taking care of some business. Guinness is great in Dublin, but very expensive in central Dublin. Yeah, I can imagine. I've never been to Ireland, but that's definitely on my bucket list. Do you live in Dublin, or whereabouts in Ireland do you live? And so we're getting kind of off topic, but that's okay. All right. So another hack: when you come here, if you're planning on being here for a while, get a rabbit card. And a rabbit card is, let me see if I can reach it with my headphones. All right. All right. This is a rabbit card. Okay. You can purchase these for 100 baht and then you load money on it. It's going to save you a lot of hassle, a lot of time when you're riding the BTS. This is good for all the BTS, and it's good for some of the MRT, the monorails that are above ground, like the yellow line outside here. I can use this rabbit card, and that'll get me to where I need to go to the BTS, and then I can use this for the BTS. But this saves you a lot of time because a lot of times, depending on the time of day and the day of the week, you're going to have a lot of crowds buying their ticket to get on the BTS. And if you already have one of these, you can just go right to the turnstile and you just tap it and you get in, and it'll show you exactly how much balance you have left on your card. So when you start getting low, just go up during an off time where it's not busy and give them your card and give them 1,000 baht or whatever and say load this on my card, and they'll do that, and you're good to go again. So definitely get a rabbit card. Now the MRT, the subway, there's a separate card, so you can get an MRT card also if you're planning on using the subways a lot, the MRTs a lot. I don't use those a lot, so I just go up to the kiosk and get my little token each time. If I were to be in an area where I have to use that MRT daily to get from my condo or back to my condo, I would get a MRT card as well. Now, I haven't tried this, but I heard if you have a Visa card, those you can tap those and you can use those too. I have not tried it yet, but that's what I heard. But if you're planning on being here for a while, go ahead and spend that 100 baht and get an MRT or a rabbit card. It'll really save you time and hassle for sure. Hey, Rigby. Rigby's the guy that's coming in June, and he's coming for 90 days. So he's going to do what I was doing a couple of years ago. Was doing the slow travel, but he's spending 30 days in Bacolod, and then him and his girlfriend are coming to Thailand for 90 days. They're going to do it up. So thanks for watching. Thanks for joining today. Appreciate it. Zul McCool, would you recommend Thailand over the Philippines? Yes, at this point, I would. And here's the reason. Several reasons. I think the food is better. The food choices are better. The Thai food is better. The cost of living. Now, I'm not talking about living in the provinces in the Philippines or living in the Isan area in the countryside in Thailand. I'm talking about city life, like comparing Bangkok to Metro Manila. It's cheaper to live here. The condos are built better. They're less expensive. Transportation's easier to get around, and just general things to do. There's so much to do here. They've got two big European soccer stadiums. I'm sorry, they got one soccer stadium. They've got two Muay Thai boxing arenas. They've got they got a lot of venues for live music. So they got a fantastic live music scene. And then the bar scenes and the entertainment here is phenomenal. It's off the chart. So many great rooftop bars. Now you can get those things in the Philippines also, but it's just a little harder to get around there than it is here. With the train system we have here in Bangkok, super easy to get around. And like I said, having this as a home base, it's easy for me to get to other places in Thailand. It's easy for me to get to other countries, and it's fairly cheap too. So, oh, you've been in Bangkok. You've been in BGC for almost a year. Have we met then? Did we ever meet? I can't remember. And forgive me if we have, and I don't remember. But all right, Philip, please compare between the Philippines and Thailand cost of staying in each regarding visa extension per year. What is the maximum time you can stay in Thailand on a tourist visa or the like? Okay, so when it comes to tourist visa, nobody beats the Philippines. It's, you come in, you get 30 days free, and then you extend for 29, and that costs about I think the average, it depends. It's usually about 1,300 peso, which is about 25 bucks for each extension. But the second time you can extend 30 to 60 days or 1 or 2 months. And then you pay, I mean, if you do 30 days, it's another 25. It's at 60, it's $50. But then you have to get an ACR card, which is a Alien Certificate of Registration ID card, and that costs another amount. I think it's like, I want to say another 1,500 peso, but I can't remember. It's been so long since I've gotten one. But anyway, you can keep extending up to 36 months on a tourist visa in the Philippines without having to leave. Now, after 6 months, if you leave, then you have to do an exit clearance, and there's another cost in that, and it's a little, I would say it's a little invasive. They ask you some things. I think they fingerprint you. They do a more thorough investigation in your criminal background checks and things like that. And then after a year, if you haven't left, they start, every time you extend, they start asking you why you're still here on a tourist visa. So they're starting to get a little more strict about asking questions to tourists that are staying beyond a year. So just know that. With Thailand, you come here right now, they're talking about changing it, but right now you can come here for most Western countries. And I'm just going to talk about the US because I'm American and that's what I know. But you come here on a 60-day visa free. So you don't have to pay anything. You get in free for the first 60 days. And then you can extend another 30, and that costs you 1,900 baht, which is, you just figure With pesos, you double pesos. So say 500 pesos is about $10. About. It's a little less, but I just kind of make it easy. With baht in Thailand, triple that amount. So 1900 would be double that's 38, 50, $57. So it'd be about $57, probably a little less than that, probably around $55 to extend for another 30 days. So it kind of averages out, kind of all comes out the same. Um, you're going to be paying $25 for your first extension in the Philippines, and then another 25 for your second. That's 50 plus your ACR card, which is another $25. So that's about 70, 60 or $70 probably. And then Thailand for the 90 days, it's $57 or $55. So it's about the same. It all comes out about the same. The only difference is you have to leave then in Thailand. You can't just keep extending like you can in the Philippines. After that 90 days, you have to leave, and then you can come back and you can start that visa-free process again. Now, the caveat to that is if you've got a lot of stamps, if you've come back a lot of times in that calendar year, they'll start looking at that and saying, why do you keep coming back so quickly? Are you living here? And because if they think you're living here, then they don't want to give you that visa-free entry as a tourist. So you have to keep that in mind too. There's always that possibility that one of those officers at immigration is going to start asking you questions about how many times you're coming back here, how many border runs. And I don't know if there's a difference between flying in or doing a ground border run, if they are more strict about entry coming in on air than it is on ground. I believe it. They are a little more strict as far as how many times in 1 year period that you can fly back and forth into Thailand as compared to ground. Like if, I'm doing that border run, we're going to take a bus probably to Cambodia at the end of July. Then I'll come back and hopefully I'll get my new 60 days when that's done. So just know, Philippines is easy. Just keep extending. Okay. Claire agrees food is much better. She agreed with all your points. So Thailand gets the vote from the Filipina too. All right. Well, you have to go with what she says because she's your girlfriend and she's the boss, right? So there you go. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys when you get up here next month. So that'll be fun. Zulma, cool. Thank you. You're welcome. Definitely. Extremely jittery flying out of Manila because it looks like the security is up to no good again with the bullet scam. Gio actually interviewed a guy that almost got done. Yeah, I don't know if it was Gio's interview or where I heard it, but what they're doing is they're randomly, when they scan your luggage, they'll pull it aside, and it's not the bullet anymore. It's putting gunpowder on the outside of your baggage. So what I'm hearing is that they'll do a scan and it'll come up with a positive on gunpowder. So I think the whole point is they're trying to get some money out of you to let you go through. So be aware of those things. I don't know if there's any truth to any of that or not, but I don't know if you're familiar with the old bullet scam. It used to be back a few years ago. They would slip a bullet into your luggage and then pull you aside, have you open your luggage up, and they find that bullet, and then they detain you, and then they get money out of you to let you go through. So that was always a scam I always heard about before I even started coming here back in 2015. I'd heard about that going into the Philippines. So you just have to be aware when you go into a third world country like the Philippines, where the majority of people are poor and there's really no middle class. You're going to run into the possibility of people trying to scam you or take advantage of you because they're looking for an easy way to make money because they don't have any money, or the money they have is very insignificant. So you just have to be aware of that when you go into these poorer countries. She agreed with your boss point too. Of course she did. Would you agree in public or private? Yeah, gunpowder residue. Yeah, that was it. Okay. So hopefully that's not a real thing, but just they just made a new rule. That I also heard that they were tearing at not at immigration, but at the uh, at the kiosks or at the gates. They were tearing your passport so you couldn't board. And I don't know what I've heard of three issues about that, and I don't know what the end game to that was, whether to get money out of that person so they could board, or whether they overbooked their flight and they had to bump somebody. I don't know what the issue was with that. So, but I've heard that too. So just be aware. Now nobody can touch your passport except for immigration at the Philippine airports. So just understand that if somebody in security wants to see your passport, you don't have to show them. Only at immigration when you go through there, and at the boarding gate when you go through there. So just know that. Anyway, let's get back to my little hacks. So one neat thing is the price of food is super cheap here. I mean, you can spend as much as you want. There's restaurants here where you can spend hundreds of dollars on your meal, but you could spend as little as 40, 50 baht, which is under $2 for your meal. Street food is abundant. There's one place though, Terminal 21, which is on Sukhumvit Road at Asok, at the Asok station, BTS station. Terminal 21 on the 5th floor. They've got a food court called Pier 21, and you can get a card there. You just get a card and put money on it, and you can go to this food court and get anything you want and pay on that card. And the food is super good and it's super cheap. I mean, you can go there and for 30 or 40 or 50 baht, you can get a full meal of it. It's Thai food, but it's good. And you can get that. And then, if you want a bottle of cold water, it's like 7 baht for that. So that's, 20 cents. So, but you pay with that card, and then you just keep putting money on that card. If you're only here for a short period of time and you use that card, when you're done with it, just take it back to the little kiosk there where you got it to begin with, and you can turn it in, and they'll give you the change that's on there. They'll give you the money back that's on there yet. So that's a neat thing. And they also have one of those Pier 21s at the Terminal 21 Mall in Pattaya too. So if you've got your card, you can use it in Pattaya as well as here in Bangkok, I believe. So that's kind of a neat thing. So it's a cheap way to eat. If you're going to the mall, it's nice and air conditioned, but be aware from about 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock, it's packed. So you can find your food, but finding a place to sit to eat, that might be a different story. So just be aware of that. 8 million visitors a year. A few people saying they got a bullet scam shakedown. I think it's hyped up by a few people detained for random bad luck. Travel enough and it happens. Yeah, I agree. It's one of those myths, I guess, for the Philippines. But you never know. I mean, just I only take carry on, and when it goes through the X-ray, when I go through, I make sure I watch it go through and I watch it come out, and nobody's touching it. So I just always keep an eye on it, and that's probably the best thing to do. So, Philip, thanks for your answer. If I may ask, how are you planning to stay in Thailand for a long time? Okay, so my original thought was stay here for 90 days, stay in Da Nang, Vietnam for 90 days, and just kind of bounce back and forth and just do 2 border runs a year at each location. I had a 3-month lease at an apartment in Da Nang, but I let that expire because it's so cheap to find a place to rent in Da Nang for a month or 2 months or 3 months at a time. Even hotels, you can get a really nice hotel where everything's covered, electricity, water, Wi-Fi, all of that. and you can still get something really cheap. I mean, the last time I stayed at a hotel in Da Nang, I paid $12 a night. That's US, $12 a night. My apartment was 7 million dong, which is, so when I say pesos, you times it by 2, baht, you times it by 3, Vietnam dong times it by 4. So 7 million is times that by 4, that's about $280. So it's 7 times 4 is 28. Add the zero, $280 a month for my apartment, which was about 45 square meters, something like that, I think. 40, 45. So it was nice. And it was a great area too, right there on the Ong Thuong neighborhood, which has got lots of really nice cafes, coffee shops, restaurants, bars, and 3 blocks from the beach. Really convenient. So anyway, so I was staying there, but it's like it didn't make any sense to keep paying rent there when I'm not there. When I go back there, I can get 30 days at a hotel or another apartment, and and it's so easy to find. So I just don't see, as long as the prices stay low in Da Nang or in Vietnam, I don't see me renting there. So that was my original plan. Now that this is my home base, I'm looking into changing my visa from a tourist to something else. I was looking into retirement visas. I was also looking into an education visa. Sorry. And I'm getting conflicting reports. I've been contacting some schools because I want to learn Thai anyway. And I thought, well, if I can learn Thai and get an education visa, I can stay up to a year on that education visa. And you only have to go to school, like, I think it's like 8 hours a week. So maybe 2 hours a day for 6 days or something like that. Very minimal. But I was looking at that, and the first thing I found is, like, if you're over 50, you can't learn Thai on an education visa. So I thought, oh, crap. But I contacted these schools. I contacted 2 different schools, and they're both certified with the Thai immigration. And they both said that age is not a factor. I can get an education visa and learn Thai at their school, even if I'm over 50. So I've got to do a little more research, because that would be one of those 2 would be my choices, either a retirement visa or a education visa. Now, with the retirement visa, you have to put in 800,000 Thai baht into a Thai bank, and that's about $23,000. And then you have to show a minimum of 65,000 baht a month in any kind of income. Well, that's not a problem. I got that. It's easy for the 65,000. I'm way above that. I just don't feel comfortable putting the 800,000 baht into a Thai bank account that I would have trouble getting access to if I need to. The 65,000, no problem, because I can just transfer it in and then use that to pay my rent, utilities, and things like that. But there's a and or in these visas. You can do one or the other, the 800,000 or prove the 65,000. But again, there's a caveat. You can do the 65,000 without putting the 800,000 in, but you have to get a certificate of or verification from your embassy that shows that you're getting that income. I'm thinking, oh, that's cool. Well, about 2 years ago, I believe, 2023 maybe, the U.S. Embassy stopped doing that. They stopped doing the verification letters. So now I can't use that. I can't just do the 65,000. So now I have to do the 800,000. So I can do one of 2 things. I can either put the 800,000 in myself, or work through an agent or an agency, and they'll put it in for me. And then all I have to do is just keep depositing the 65,000 minimum a month for that 12 months. And then when renewal comes, I can renew for another year. Now, with that visa, you have to check in every 90 days. And then if you leave the country, you have to re-verify um, your address, I believe, or something like that. You have to redo something, but you have to check in every 90 days with that. So I'm debating. I'm still looking. I've got some time, but I'm still looking at the different options. So hopefully that's a long answer to your question, Philip. But hopefully I answered it for you. Um, I don't want to do the DTV, the digital, like the nomad, because um, I don't make enough income on YouTube to qualify. I don't believe so. Your Danang condo was nice and super cute, quaint, street loaded with restaurants basically on the beach. So nice for 280. Took one day to find two. Yeah. I had a really good agent. She took me around on her bike. It was kind of funny, but it was rainy that day too. But she showed me a lot of different places, but in the end, I liked that one. So yeah. 2 times 6 is 12. I'm thinking schooling might not be for you. What do you mean 2 times 6? What did I say? What did I say about 2 times 6? I'm confused. Anyway, I'm sure if you did the schooling, wouldn't you be forced to live in one city year round? Or can you do one semester, then skip one for 90 days and alternate? I would want one city for 12 months. I think you have to be at the same school. I think you have to go to that school physically those days. And yeah, and you have to go. That you can't just not go. It's not like high school because they check in, or the immigration checks in with the school to make sure that these people that are on education visa are actually going to class. And when you renew, if you want to, from what I understand, after a year, you can continue to take Thai lessons, go up a level. But when you renew, they're going to talk to you in Thai to make sure that you're learning. So that's interesting. So, um, anyway, so let's go back to our little uh, hacks. Markets are awesome. My favorite is Chatuchak Market. It's a weekend market. It's probably, I think it's the largest weekend market in Thailand. It's huge, but they've got great street food. They've got little restaurants in there too. They've got great prices, super cheap. You can buy clothes and other items there too, and you can get them for super cheap prices, and they're decent quality. And they may be knockoffs, but they're good quality items. So you can get a shirt, like a Adidas shirt. It may be a knockoff, but it's good quality for like 100 baht, for like $3. And they've got all kinds of different clothes. But I would definitely check the markets, because you're going to really find some really, really good deals if you go to the markets. They've got it. They've got it all: clothes and food and great prices. And it's kind of a neat thing. And you can get to it right off the BTS or the MRT. I think the Chatuchak is the MRT stop, and I want to say Chitlom is the BTS stop, but don't quote me on that. I'd have to look it up to make sure. Okay, another tidbit of information that it was good to find out when I started coming here. The apps that you need or should have when you come to Thailand. Number one is Line. Line is like WhatsApp. So that's what Thai people use to communicate. They use Line. So, and I'm not talking about dating apps. If you go on a dating app, you pick your own. I'm not a big fan of dating apps. But once you're on those dating apps and you meet a girl online that way, you're going to have to contact them off the dating app. And Line is the best way to do that. So definitely go download Line. I would do it before you get here. That way you've got it with your US number, and you can use that, because if you use your SIM card number, um, every time you lose that SIM card and you have to get a new one, you're going to have to re-register your line, because you're going to have that old SIM card number. So use your permanent number to register your line. But get line. That way you can talk to the Thai girls here. Also Grab or Bolt. It's like the Uber of Southeast Asia. Grab or Bolt, download those apps, and it's going to make it easier to get around, whether you're in Bangkok or Pattaya or Hua Hin or wherever you are. Grab or Bolt is a good way to go. Other things to download: Google Translate. Use the Google Translate. It's a great app because it not only translates uh, words and sentences, but it translates print. So you can hold it up to a menu that isn't in English. And by the way, most menus are also in English if you go to the restaurants in the big tourist areas around Bangkok. But if it's not, or if you're looking at a sign, or if you're at a grocery store and you're looking at an item and it's not in English, it's just in Thai, just hold your phone up to the item and it will translate it into English or whatever language you want. It'll translate it for you. So that's a neat little app to get. Just download that Google Translate app. It'll be a lifesaver for you because there are people that speak English here in Thailand, a lot of Thai people, but there are places where you'll go that they don't speak a lot of English. So you're going to have that issue. If you're going on a date with a Thai girl, she may not speak a lot of English, so you may need that translation to get started. Now in Vietnam, that it's essential. It's really hard unless you're at a bar where most of the people that go to the bar are expats. Then most of the bar girls or the bartenders, they speak a good enough English to get through a conversation. But other than that, you're going to be lucky in Vietnam. Thailand, it's kind of hit or miss depending on the area you're in. Line auto translates to, yeah, it does. Yeah. So you can, if a girl, most times it does. I think there's sometimes where it won't, but most times it will translate for you. So yeah, and that's good. Philip, what if you marry a Thai girl there? Can you stay permanently on a marriage visa? I assume. I don't know because I have no plans on getting married, so I haven't looked into that. But you don't know. It's hard to say. But I would assume you can if you're married to a Thai resident or Thai citizen. I would assume there's a visa you can transfer, just like in the Philippines. You can do the 13A, which is the marriage visa, and I think that's probably possible here too. But like I said, I am in no hurry to even think about getting married, let alone get married. Does Thailand still have the 20,000 deposit prerequisite for a retirement visa? Yeah, it's 800,000 baht. So let me bring up. There's another good app to get that I didn't write down. It's a currency conversion app, and I use this app called All Currency Converter, and it's a free app, and there's no ads on it, and it's pretty accurate. So right now, 800,000 baht is just under $24,000 US, $23,736 US. So that's the requirement to deposit in a Thai bank account is the 23,736 or 800,000 baht. But there you go. Yeah, that's still a requirement. Unless you're in a country that will verify your income of at least a minimum of 65,000 baht a month, then you can get a verification letter from your embassy. Now, I don't know if Ireland does that. So maybe Ireland does that and you don't have to put in the 800,000. You can just show your monthly income that you deposit into a Thai bank account of 65,000 minimum and you're golden. So US doesn't do that verification. So I'm out of luck. I got to go the 800,000 route. So, all right. Another hack. Oops, I'm sorry. Let's check this. Yeah, 24,000. Yeah, that's what I think. I think it's a little too much. I don't I just have a hard time trusting my money in a foreign bank account. I have a hard enough time trusting my money in my US bank account, let alone put it in a foreign bank account. Now in the Philippines, they've got a little better deal. It's 10,000 that you put in, 10,000 peso, which is about um, or 10,000 US dollars, I'm sorry. 10,000 US dollars if you have an income. If you don't have an income, you have to put in 20,000. So that's similar. And then if you're military, they've got a really good deal. If you're a veteran, it's only like 1,500 in the Philippines. So they've got a really nice deal in the Philippines for that, as far as the amount of money that you have to deposit. No problem, Kiki and Jasmine. Always try to help. I may not always be right, but if I don't have the answer, I will tell you I don't have the answer, and I will look it up. All right. So here's just a little advice. When you come to Thailand or anywhere for that matter, especially if you're planning on living in Southeast Asia, in Thailand or the Philippines or wherever, have a decent amount of savings because it's going to cost you your initial expenses are going to be pretty high. Now your eventual monthly expenses you can get by with, under 2,000. I was paying, I think my expenses in BGC was around 1,700 a month, and that was had a nice condo in a nice area, BGC, and eating out a couple of times a week, going out having drinks a couple of times a week, um, and all those general expenses. So um, once you get settled in, you can do the same here. I would say about 2,000 a month is a good amount to have as far as expenses here in Bangkok. I think my expenses are less than that. I think mine's only like 1,500 right now, but and that's if I go out to eat a lot, and I have. I'm going to try to cook at home more, but your initial costs are going to be pretty high. First of all, you have your flight, the expense of your flight, depending on where you come from and when you come, what that's going to cost. You have you're going to have to stay in a hotel or an Airbnb for a little while until you find a permanent spot to live. Once you do find a spot to live, you're going to be paying probably a month's rent and 2 months deposit. That's generally what the going terms are. Sometimes you can get 1 month and 1 month. I know in Vietnam, a lot of places do the 1 month and 1 month. But mostly here in Thailand and also in the Philippines, they want 1 month rent, 2 months deposit. Sometimes, especially in the Philippines, they're looking for 2 months rent, 2 months deposit. But everything's negotiable. But you're going to have that expense. So if you're spending, say, 500 a month on rent, that's $1,500 for 1 month rent and 2 months deposit. So you've got that initial amount of money. Then you've got the cost of, say, if you get a phone and Wi-Fi. The SIM card is pretty cheap, but a lot of times Wi-Fi you have to pay up front. You have to pay 3 months in advance. Yeah. Now my Wi-Fi is free here. I got high-speed Wi-Fi, so I got it free here. I also got it free when I was in Vietnam. In the Philippines, it's not like that. You have to pay for your Wi-Fi unless you're at an Airbnb or a hotel. So generally, you're paying 3 months advance. So if your Wi-Fi is 1,700 peso, that's about $30 a month. That's another $90, $100 expense that you're paying up front. But there's I'm just talking about different expenses that you might have to pay. You might have to get insurance right up front. You might your insurance back in the U.S. or back where you're from might not cover you being over here overseas. So you may have to get travel insurance or some other type of insurance. So there's an expense there. So I would not come over here without at least $5,000 in your bank account, in your savings account, at least 5,000, and at least 2,000 monthly income that's guaranteed that you're going to get 2,000 a month. Now, if you're a YouTuber like me, don't bank on getting the same amount of money each month. My income has gone way down. In fact, if you want to do a super chat or buy me a coffee, wink, wink. No, like I was making last year, this time I was making, probably between $500 and $700 a month. Now, the last 3 months, I'm lucky to break $100. So I don't do this to get rich, and I don't do this because I need the income to survive. I've got a steady income coming in that more than covers my expenses. So this is just fluff. But the money I make here, I put right back into the channel, so I can do these videos, I can upgrade my studio, things like that. And, just share my experiences with you guys. So anyway, so yeah, 5,000 minimum in savings and 2,000 minimum monthly income would be my suggestion to you guys. So another thing is learn a little Thai while you're here, because if you can learn just a little bit of Thai, so you're understood and they understand you a little bit, that can go a long way. And it could go a long way in two ways. First of all, the understanding part for both sides. And secondly, it shows the Thai people that you're serious about living here, and they appreciate the effort. Even if you mispronounce a word or say the wrong word, they appreciate the effort. And some things will save you a lot of trouble. Like, the obvious thing is sawadikap, saying hello to somebody, asking how they are, sabai mai, which most Thais don't ask you how you are. Most Thais will ask you, have you eaten yet? That's usually, I think that's pretty prevalent all throughout Southeast Asia. I think the Philippines do that too. But sabai mai, and if somebody asks you sabai mai, how are you? You say sabai kap, which is I am good, thank you. Different things like that. If you're ordering food, if you don't like spicy food, because Thai food is spicy, if you don't like spicy food, if you like spicy food, just say pet pet. See, pet pet is that's a lot of spice. If you want just a little bit of spice, say need noi. And you can use that term for anything that you want a little bit of. Like if somebody asked you, do you speak Thai? And you say need noi, just a little. If you don't want any spice at all, say my pet. My is no. My pet, no spice, and they'll make it as bland as they possibly can for Thailand. So learn a little Thai. It'll take you a long way, and you'll actually enjoy it. Now, learning to speak Thai and understand Thai is a completely different thing than learning to read Thai, because the Thai alphabet is completely different than what we're used to in the West. So just know that. Just know that. Learn to speak it, learn to understand it. Don't worry so much about reading it. That's going to take a little more, a little more effort. Are you sure you can get a retirement visa for Thailand while you're already there? Philippines this year disabled getting one due to FBI report. Must be acquired in USA as of January 2025 due to Philippines' new rules. I hadn't heard that. Yeah, you can get it here, because what you do is you have to change your visa to a type O, I think, or something, or non-O. I'm not sure what the exact terminology is or what the exact visa is, but you can do it while you're here. The catch-22 thing is you have to have a Thai bank account before you can apply for a retirement visa, but you can't get a Thai bank account until you have a retirement visa. So it's probably best to go through an agent to do that. So yeah, but yeah, I haven't heard anything. I didn't know about the Philippines thing, so that's weird. So how would somebody so let's say you're in the Philippines on a tourist visa, and you've been there a year, and you go in to renew your tourist visa, and they say you've been here over a year on a tourist visa. Um, why are you still here on a tourist visa? And if you say, oh, well, I want to get a retirement visa. Okay. But if they won't let you get one while you're there, do you have to go back to the US in order to get a retirement visa, or can you just do it there? I mean, that would be my first and biggest question. Um, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But then again, we are talking about the Philippines, and not a lot makes sense to me about the Philippines. Um, it's so random there. But anyway, so if you know that answer, let me know. I would appreciate that. Um, all right. Another little hack or another little tidbit of information that I think would be good if you're looking for a place to live, if you're planning on staying here at any length of time, find say a condo or an apartment, find something that's close to the train system, close to either a BTS, which is the sky rail, or the MRT, which is the subway. Find something that's close by so you can walk there. Because if you're and and generally speaking, that's pretty easy to do because um, Bangkok has a great train system. You can pretty much get anywhere within walking distance by using either the BTS or the MRT. Now, the reason I say that is if you find a nice place, and you can find some really good deals in condos and serviced apartments that are farther away from the BTS and the MRT, and it's going to cost you a lot less, but you've got to weigh the cost with the hassle of getting around, because what you're going to end up having to do is get on a trike or a tuk-tuk if there's one available, but get on a trike, and that trike's got to take you to the nearest BTS or MRT station. So that's going to cost you 20 or 30 baht each day you go there and each day you come back. There's a bit of an expense. So if you do that daily, let's say, so that's let's say $1.50 a day. So that's $45 a month if you do it every day. So there's a bit of an expense. So is that worth getting the cheaper apartment or the cheaper condo? And then if it's raining, like, we're just getting about into rainy season here. If it's raining, do you want to take a trike in the rain? Then you got to take a Grab or a taxi. And then now that expense goes up. So finding a place, spending a little more money and finding a place that's close to a BTS or close to the MRT is going to be worth that little extra money you're going to pay in, just, at least to me, in my mind, that convenience, and I'm all about convenience. That's why I lived in BGC for 3 years. It was so convenient. You could walk anywhere. Didn't have to worry about Grabs or taxis or trikes unless it was raining. But you could walk pretty much anywhere. So that's what I like. I like convenience. And that's what I like about Bangkok, is the convenience of being close to the train systems. So you keep that in mind if you're looking for a place to live. Now, where I'm at, like I said, I'm right outdoors, right outside the MRT station, which is one stop to the BTS, the Green Line, which is where Sukhumvit Road is, which is where most of the main action is. When my lease is up at the end of October, I'm thinking about moving down closer down on Sukhumvit. I'll still be close to the BTS, but I'll be closer to the main things I want to be at. So my expenses will go up as far as condo price, but transportation will go down because I'm not spending as much on the trains getting from where I'm at now to where I need to go. So it won't be an even trade. I'll be spending a lot more on my condo, but it'll be a lot bigger, hopefully a lot nicer. Hopefully I'll have a nice area for my studio. So anyway, so yeah, just find a condo or an apartment that's close to a BTS. Let's go back to the chat, see what's going on here. Yeah, writing Thai looks impossible. When you look at Thai, it looks like it's English only backwards. At least to me, it looks like, they've written everything backwards. But I guess there's like 44 or 70 or something like that characters to the Thai alphabet, whereas English is 26. So yeah, it's it's crazy, but someday maybe I'll try to learn it. I want to learn how to speak first. Philippines Retirement Association has no idea how to get an SRV while in the country. They say you must go home to USA first. That's weird. I've never. This is the first I've heard that. So that's going to be different then, because the Philippines had a pretty decent retirement plan with the $10,000 deposit. It was like half or more than half or less than half of what it is in Thailand. Um, so that may be a difference maker. They may be cutting off their nose to spite their face, so to speak. Um, that may have a negative influence on retirement in the Philippines. I don't know. Maybe they want that. Maybe they don't want more people retiring there. I don't know what their end game is on that. That's weird, though. Yeah, first I've heard about that too. Have you ventured down Soy Cowboy and Nana Plaza yet? You mean today? Let me see. I'll blink twice if I have. Not today though. Yeah, I've been down there many, many times. When I first came, the first time I came here about 3 years ago, I met this Australian guy. I call him Aussie Bob. His name is Bob. He's like 75 years old. He's been here for 20 years. And we met, and I can't remember where we met. It was probably on Soy 4 somewhere, just at a bar. And we got to be really good friends. And so that first weekend I was here, he showed me all the places. He took me to all the places on Nana. He took me to Soy 11. He took me to Soy Cowboy. He, I lost my cherry here in Bangkok because of him. But so now I kind of pay it forward. So now when I have friends that come for the first time, I'll give them that whole treatment. I'll show them everywhere, and I'll take them to Soy. I'll take them to Crazy House, and I'll even buy the first lady drink for him for my friend. So it's fun though. But I don't normally go there. It's just on occasion I'll go there. I like the live music venues. I'll go to like Soy 4. Some of the bars there, like the Hillary bars, have live music. That's pretty good. Some of the bars when you first come in there on the left side, like Stumble In and Bunny and places like that, have live music. That can be pretty good. So I'll go there. But I just love the live music scene. I'm not there for the bar girls. So it's more of a free entertainment to watch. I do the people watching there. So you all right? Live next to BTS. Rely on a Grab was awful daily experience. A 1 block walk to the BTS is wonderful. Yeah. Grabs are good, but you're at the mercy of the traffic, and the traffic is a lot like Manila. It's bad. It's super bad. So if you come from the airport, say, have them take the highway. That's the expressway. That's the toll, and it'll cost you about 30 or 50 baht more that you'll have to pay your Grab driver in cash. But that's okay, because you're going to get there faster, generally speaking, than if you take the regular route. But I always try to take, if I'm coming from the airport, whether it's Suvarnabhumi, which is closest to where I'm at, or if up north at DMK, which is Don Muang, which is mostly either discount fares from overseas or domestic flights. But Don Muang, you can take a train from Don Muang. It's about a 10-minute walk to get to the train from the airport, maybe a little longer, but it's not bad because it's all covered. And then you can take a train to where you need to go. Suvarnabhumi, same way. You don't have to walk that far, but you can take a train to where you need to go. You can take the red line or the train, Suvarnabhumi train, to get to the main lines in Bangkok. So that's the best way to go. But if you have to take a Grab, just be aware of the traffic because it can be bad. And beware of the scams too. Taxi scams are just as prevalent here as they are in the Philippines. But there's in Swannaboom, there's a neat little. You just walk up to. There's 3 lanes, I believe. One is for larger vehicles. So if you have a family or a lot of luggage, you can go through that lane. One is for regular taxi. One is for short distance, I believe. So you go to in whichever lane you need, and then you go up to a kiosk and you just get a ticket. You get a little receipt or a ticket, and then it'll show you which bay or which slot your taxi is going to be in. And so you go to that slot and your taxi will be there or show up there. And then you get in and then just make sure that they've got the meter on. Um, and then if they don't, ask them. And it's just like in the Philippines, if they don't want to put their meter on, they're supposed to, but they don't always. If they don't want to put their meter on, then ask them up front what the price is. And if you're okay with the price, then go ahead. Or you can get out and get another ticket and take your chances. But I generally don't take taxis, but that's the way to go. Don't ever walk out and have somebody come up to you and say, would you like a taxi? Or would you like me to order you a Grab? Because they're going to charge you extra for that. And it could be significantly extra. So just be aware of the taxi scams. Already talked about Thai spicy food and how to order Thai food if you don't like it spicy. What else? SIM cards. Get a SIM card when you get to the airport. That'll help you. I have an international plan on my phone through T-Mobile, and I just kept that because my phone's unlocked, but I kept that, and I pay $55 a month for that. It's an expense I'm okay with because it allows me to use my data anywhere I go. But I also got a SIM card on my other phone for Thailand. So I've got a postpaid SIM card. So they take out money out of my account every month to pay for my SIM card. So I've got a permanent SIM card on my other phone. So I've got that too. And cash exchange. If you're at Swannaboom, and here's another thing about Swannaboom, you have to go to the lower level. So when you're in the arrivals, if you walk outside, you're going to have to go down one flight to get to the Grab pickup. So if you're taking a Grab, you have to go downstairs one flight from where you get out of the arrivals when you leave the airport. So go down one flight, then you can find your Grab. They've got different bays and you just type in where you're going to be and they'll pick you up there. But also downstairs at Swannaboom Airport is the better exchange rate. You get a little better exchange rate there. Now, I wouldn't change all your money at the airport because the airport rates aren't as good as you find downtown. So here's what I had a friend come visit me one time. Actually, I think we flew in together from Philippines, and I got enough baht. I exchanged enough baht at the airport to get me where I needed to go and through the night. So I got 1,000 or 2,000 baht or something like that. So $30 or $50, something like that. It was enough to get me through, the next couple of days. And then I was going to be down on Sukhumvit, and I would find a spot that gave me a better rate. He ended up putting all his money in, and I think he got a rate of this was probably about a year ago, not quite a year ago. He got a rate of 31, I believe, at the airport. And the going rate now is 33 point something. So he got a 31. I got down to Sukhumvit Road, and I just checked different exchange places, and they're all over in the tourist areas, but you just have to look to find the best rate because they're all different. The difference with the banks have to have the same rate. They're all uniform. The different little companies, the different little kiosks where you get those exchanges, they're competing with not just the banks, but with each other. So they may have better rates. So it's kind of like gas wars back in the 70s, where you go one minute, the gas would be a certain price, and the next minute it go down because the guy across town went down. So you just have to check. And I got a really good rate. I think it was like 36 at the time, and his was like 31. So my rate was a lot better than his because I waited because I've been here before and I learned that from another vlogger that don't exchange all your money at the airport, just exchange enough to get you through until you can get to Bangkok and get a good rate. So there's another little tip for you on the cash exchange. Thailand has great Indian food. Love Indian. Yeah, if you go down around like I think it's Sukhumvit 5, which is right across from Nana, basically, and those areas are full of Indian restaurants, and they do have really good Indian food there. I have a friend who's um, what is he? Lebanese. He's Lebanese, and he loves not just Indian food, but what do they call that? Mediterranean or Middle Eastern or whatever they call it. But anyway, he loves eating there because that's his heritage. So we go to these different restaurants, and it's really good, really good. So yeah, Bangkok's got great food options. Anything you want. Um, Great burgers and steaks, great pizzas, great Italian food, great Mexican food. They got it all. It's really good. Well, okay, Kiki and Jasmine, I appreciate that. I hope I'm helping you guys out. I do appreciate that. I'm just kind of passing on information that I've picked up in the times that I've visited here or lived here. So it's going on 3 years now that I think first time I was here was in May of 2022, I think. Yeah, so it's been 3 years since I've been visiting, and like I said, I moved here in October last year, so I've lived here. I haven't been here the entire time because, like I said, I went to Vietnam for a couple months and Manila for a little while. But this is my home now, so yeah. Hopefully, this is all good information for you guys. I'm just passing along what I've learned in the few years I've been visiting and living here. So, and if there's anything else that you want to know, ask. If I have the answer, I'll definitely tell you. Or if you have some tidbits of information that might be relevant to living in Bangkok or in Thailand, go ahead and share. I would appreciate that too. Um, let's see. Here's the final one. We talked about the rabbit card earlier, about getting the rabbit card so you can ride the BTS and the monorails and the MRT. Some shopping mall food courts will actually take your rabbit card for payment. I'm not sure which ones, but some of them will. So if you don't have their card, you can ask, or there may be signs up that shows the rabbit card, and you could use those to pay for your food at the food courts at some of the malls. So that's kind of a cool thing. So, but there's my hacks. There's my little tips to pass along to you. I tried to think of some last night and some others early this morning. But then I got sidetracked with trying to get my camera to work right. So hopefully everything is good for you guys. Do you have any other questions? Looks like we got a new chat guy, Steve, and I don't know how to pronounce your last name, Steve. I apologize. What is a good food budget per month? Mostly frugal, but I like some Western food a couple of times a week. Okay, so you can get good Western food here, like in restaurants for decent prices. Like I could go, like one of my hangouts is called O'Shea's. It's a Irish pub down on Sukhumvit 33/1. I don't know. I've heard it called 33 and a half. I've heard it called 33 and a third, but it's 33/1. So there's a 33, there's a Sukhumvit 33, and then there's a 33/1. So some of these sois, which are streets or alleys, that's what soi means. Some of them have 2 for a number. So like there's a soi 7, but there's also a soi 7/1. There's a soi, I think there's a soi 13, there's a soi 13/1, there's a soi 33, there's a soi 33/1. So you've got to, if you're looking for a place and they tell you SOE 33, make sure it's 33 and not 33/1, or you might have trouble finding it. But anyway, I digress. So this place is on 33/1. It's called O'Shea's, and they've got good food there, good Western food, and they've got daily specials. So like sometimes they'll have a pizza special, and sometimes they'll have just a Western food special, like a um, like a hot beef dinner. So they'll have beef with mashed potatoes and gravy, a biscuit, mixed vegetables, and it comes with a beer. And I believe the cost is, I want to say, $3.49. So $10, $10 for a big meal and a filling. It's big meal plus a beer, and the beer is like 100 baht. So the beer is like $3 in itself. So you're saving. I mean, I don't know if you're saving, but the whole thing is like $10 total. So that's a pretty good deal, I think, for that whole thing. But you can go in the morning and get a breakfast. You can get it's like an egg McMuffin, like a sausage McMuffin. So it's like this um, what do they call it? Not a biscuit, but the heavier bread dough. I can't think of the name of it, but you get it on basically a biscuit, and you get the big thick sausage and an egg and cheese, and the whole thing is 99 baht. So it's under $3 for that big sandwich, and it's super filling. Um, you can get great Thai food too. I mean, obviously, I eat at one of my other places is right there on Prompong district, which is called 39 Craft Coffee, and they've got food outside, Thai street food outside, and you just pick your 2 dishes plus your rice, and you tell them you want to eat indoors. So you go indoors, and they put your food inside, and then you can get your coffee or whatever you want with it, and that's under 100 baht if you just get the food and say a bottle of water. If you get the drink with it, if you get a nice big Americano coffee, that's about under 200 baht, so under $6 for a nice big meal. But there's other places where you can eat pretty cheap. They've got fast food restaurants here too. If you like those Western fast food, which I don't, but once in a while I'll do that. But yeah, you can find good deals. I'll do a video. I'll go around looking for the good Western food deals. Maybe I'll do a video. I tried to do one in BGC before I left, but I just didn't have time. I did do some grocery shopping, and I'll do a video on that, do some price comparisons on groceries. So what's the easiest way to get a visa extension if money isn't a concern so you can stay for 90 days? So I don't know where you're from, Chillin, but for most Western countries, in say like the US or Canada or UK, you get 60 days visa-free entry, and then you can extend another 30 after that. You have to go. There's one. That's the worst. This is the worst part about Bangkok with visa extensions. There's one place in the entire city of Bangkok that does the extensions. One Bureau of Immigration location that does extensions. There's actually 2 locations, Bureau of Immigrations, but only one does the extensions. The other one is for visas and other things, or for retirement or other things. So you have to go there, and it's going to be super busy. They have rows and rows of chairs that you got to sit in and wait for your number to be called, or wait to get in line, or whatever the case may be. So, but you can go online and schedule an appointment, and that knocks off a little bit of time, but you still have to go there, and you still have to wait in line. But basically, you fill out, it's like 3 pages of information, and you have to have like a passport photo. And there's actually, if you don't have that, there's a place right across the hall from this immigration bureau where they'll take your picture for you, and it's like 100 baht, so $3, and they'll give you, several copies of a photo for you for your passport. And so you attach that to the um, information to the form, and then you hand them the form, and then you go to pay. After you pay, you come back and you wait for your passport and your stamp. So that's the process. So, and it's 1900 baht. So with the photo, it's 2000 baht. So that's $60, less than $60. So, but then after 90 days, you have to leave. If you're just on a tourist visa, you have to leave, and then you come back and start the process over again. Big budget question, regardless of lifestyle. Well, I don't have a big budget, so let's see what the question is. Whether you will have a girlfriend to pay for, if you will date. Just my opinion, that is a wild card, guys. Forget to consider how expensive can become. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's a whole different ball game if you got a girlfriend or if you're dating. Now, some girls, if you date, say, an Isan girl that's working here in Bangkok. Isan is like country girl. It's like a province girl in the Philippines. Um, she may not care about going to expensive places. She's not. It's a little different here than it is in BGC or Manila. If you're dating a city girl there, they're a little more westernized. So they're expecting, a lot more of them are expecting high quality dates. Whereas here, you do get some of those girls, but not as much. They're not as prevalent. So you can find a girl that's just happy to go eat street food, or go to Jod Fairs and get some street food, or walk around the park, or whatever. You'll find those. But I will also tell you that the dating process is a little longer, a little lengthier here than it is in the Philippines. The Philippines is easier to date, one. And I'll just be blunt. Sexually speaking, it's a quicker process to get a girl in the Philippines than it is in Thailand. And it's a slower process in Thailand and even slower in Vietnam, because they want to make sure you're serious. In Thailand and Vietnam, they want to make sure you're actually living here before they want to get serious with you. And they take their time, and they're not worried about taking their time. So in the Philippines, I think it's kind of the opposite. They want to be with you right away, and the Filipino are very clingy, and you date them once, and they consider you your boyfriend, their boyfriend automatically. So, and I'm speaking in generalities. It's not like that with everybody, but for the most part, that's how Filipinos are, and for the most part, that's how Thai girls are. They want to make sure that you're serious. They don't like holiday boyfriends unless you do the pay for play and the freelancers, and you'll find plenty of those on the streets at Nana or even on dating sites. There's a ton of freelancers. Dating sites are the new walking street. The majority of the girls you're going to find, especially the ones that are under 30, are going to be freelancers on these dating sites. So just a word of warning. A bit inconvenient. I was hoping I could pay someone extra to do all of that for me. This is one of the reasons I prefer to stay in BGC. Yeah, I suppose you could pay somebody, but I think you still have to be there. I don't think you can just give somebody your passport and they take care of the stamp and everything for you. I think you still have to be there for that. Border runs might be a different question. You might be able to hire somebody to help you do a border run and be legit on that. Great, helpful live stream, JJ. Most bloggers just waste time. This was great. Oh, thanks. I appreciate it, Rigby. Hope to see you soon. That explains the high percentage of single moms in the Philippines. You know what I read? You're right. And I read the other day a statistic that, and this is sad, Filipino girls between the age, this is going to floor you guys might want to sit down for this, between the age of 10 and 14, single moms in the Philippines have risen like 6,000 Filipina in the last year. That's like, and I don't know what the percentage was. I can't remember what the percentage was, but it went up like maybe it was 6% and 3,000 Filipina. But between the age of 10 and 14, 3,000 between 3 and 6,000 girls in the Philippines have become single moms. That's that's incredible. And at first blush, you think, oh, these damn expats, they're just sexpats. It's not just the foreigners that are doing this; it's the locals. The locals are contributing to this epidemic, I guess you can call it. Um, I've heard so many horror stories about these barangay officers or barangay captains or chiefs that will take advantage of these young girls, and when they get pregnant, they tell them go have sex with a boy in your class and then blame him. Now I don't know if there's any truth to that or not, but when there's smoke, there's probably some fire, and that's just crazy. And I think a lot of cousins are. I mean, when you're out in the boonies in the provinces, you just don't know what goes on there. So it's yeah, it is shocking. But I read that statistic just 2 days ago, probably. Um, 10 to 14 year olds, 10 to 14 year olds. I didn't even think someone that young could even get pregnant, but that's crazy. But we kind of got off subject, and this kind of got to a dark point, and so I want to get away from that. So it's kind of disturbing. But anyway, let's talk about Bangkok. Any other questions you guys have, or any other tidbits of information or hacks that you know of when you come to Bangkok or come to Thailand that will help us all out? Because I'm still a newbie, so to speak. So I've only been here, since October living, and only been traveling here off and on for 3 years now. But I don't know. Obviously, I don't know everything, um, but I'm learning, and that's why I want to share my experiences with you guys. So let's see. There's 20 on right now. That's a good crowd. We've been on about an hour and 40 minutes, so we'll go another 20. We'll see. Um, I've run out of my hacks. I had them all written down here. I could probably think of some if I have a little bit of time to think about it. But if you guys have any other things you want to share, what, how many in chat have actually been to Thailand? Let me if you've been to Thailand, just give me a one in chat. Just type in a one in the chat. I want to see how many have been to Thailand or Bangkok. Um, we'll see how many we get here, but yeah, just type in a one. And Kiki and Jasmine's been, yeah. And RB 587's been, Chillin's been. So I would say most of you in chat's probably been. But if you haven't, let me know why you're interested in Thailand or why you're interested in Bangkok. If you haven't been, I'd be interested to know what your thoughts are about it. With me, the first time I came here, I was just floored. It was just something that really amazed me. Thailand and Bangkok in particular just was incredible for me. It was just kind of a surreal thing. Let's see. My first visit to Thailand was back in 1996. I was 22. Wow, 96. So let me ask, did you have that? For me, it's like the only thing I knew about Bangkok was the Murray Head song back in the 80s, One Night in Bangkok. And that really kind of set the tone and set the feeling for me. It's like, this looks like a crazy city that I would really love to visit someday. But but yeah, but Bangkok's so much more than just what that song's about. So, chilling. Are you excited to try Cambodia with Geo? Yeah, I haven't been to Cambodia yet, so I am excited to check that out. I think it's going to be pretty fun. Um, it's probably going to be a lot cheaper there than it is even here, or even maybe even Vietnam. I don't know. Vietnam's pretty cheap, and they use U.S. dollars as their currency. Although I don't have any U.S. dollars on me, so I don't know. This would be a good one to find out from people that's been to Cambodia whether I should exchange money, my bots here for US dollars before I go there, or does it matter? Do I just exchange my bots when I get there for whatever the Cambodian currency is, or exchange it for US dollars there? That'd be a good question. That's one I don't know the answer to. So if you've been to Cambodia and you're familiar with the exchanges, let me know. Ceylon, a good area to live in. I want close to a park. My budget is 2,000 US a month. Okay, so first of all, is your budget, when you say your budget's 2,000, is that the amount of money you make a month, or is that what you have set aside for expenses a month? Because that's important, because you can spend 2,000, but you don't want to be, say you get paid on the first of every month, and you don't want to be the 25th of the month and have no money left because you spent $2,000. So that's the first thing. Siloam area is a great area, super nice, but expensive. Now you can find good places to live there that are a little farther away from the trains. Not super far away, but you can find decent places to live. But if your expenses are 2,000, not your total budget, you can live in the Siloam area fairly well. You can do well there. So I would say that. It was a total culture shock. Yeah, it was for me too. And I bet 96 was even more of a culture shock for you back then, because I think Thailand's changed probably quite a bit. Um, this is such a modern city, and that was the one of the biggest things that shocked me, because I've been living in, I've been traveling to Southeast Asia, and mostly the Philippines, since 2015, but I've also spent time in Japan and Tokyo and Osaka. So I know how modern Tokyo is, and I never thought Bangkok would be as modern as Tokyo. I was thinking it was more like Manila, and I was completely wrong. Such a shock, but a shock for the good, And the food, oh my God, the food is so amazing. No problem, Steve. Always happy to help when I can. Um, Went to Crazy House my first night there. Yeah, I actually dated a girl that was a waitress at Crazy House. Now, let me qualify this: the waitresses don't bar fine. They don't do any of that. Only the dancers do. But I dated briefly one of the waitresses that worked there, and she's a sweetheart, and we're still friends to this day. And I'll come in. She still works there. I'll go in and say hi to her every once in a while. But we're still friends. And but that was I was smitten with her the first time I went there. So with Aussie Bob, when he took me there the first time, that was an experience. Talk about a shock. Aussie Bob was off the hook. He was crazy, going wild at Crazy House. He was paying dancers right and left, buying drinks. He had girls on. He had like 3 girls at once in the booth, and I'm like, my eyes were like silver dollars. I was like, oh my God, is this like an everyday thing, or what the hell? It is pretty crazy. That's what I have set aside. I get 28 a month. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Yeah. So 2,000 is, yeah, you can live in the Siloam area. You can live pretty much anywhere in Bangkok on 2,000 a month. Now, you're not going to, if you're a party guy and you like to go out every night of the week and you like to go to clubs and you date a lot, that you might dig in a little more into your 2,800 than the 2,000. If you just do it on occasion, you should be fine. I don't think there'll be any problems. Um, Local beer in Cambodia is really affordable and it's nice too. So do they? I've never had Cambodia beer. I've had the Lao beer. What's that called? Beer Lao, um, which is from Laos. And of course, I've had all the Thai beers and all the Filipino beer, but I've never had Cambodia beer. So what's the local beer in Cambodia, and what kind of prices are we talking about? That's my go-to beer here is a Singha. I like Singha, and then once in a while I'll get a Leo. If sometimes they got happy hour specials. You get a big mug of Leo or Tiger for like 100 baht, so like $3, and you get a huge mug. I don't know how much it is in liters or ounces, but it's big and it's pretty good. But I don't know with the Cambodia beer. I'm not sure what it's like, but I will find out when I go there in July, end of July. I've got to leave my after I do my 30-day extension. That'll be up in like June 2nd or June 3rd or something like that. So I have to leave before I can come back and start over again. But yeah, it'll be fun. Anchor's nice. 50 cents for a bottle. 33, what is that? Ounces? What is that? CL? Liters? Oh, 33 liters bottle in most places in Cambodia. 33, what is CL? I'm not, call me stupid. But 50 cents US, so that's pretty good. So that's cheaper than anywhere here even, or in the Philippines. Now, you can go to places like Pattaya and get a beer for like during happy hour for like 55 or 65 baht, which is like $1.50 or $1.60. So that's not bad for a bottle of beer. The nice thing about here is they'll put your bottle of beer in a koozie, in a beer condom, and they'll keep it cool. They don't do that in the Philippines. Some places do, but most don't, which I never could understand. It's like, why not? Just get a bunch of them printed out with your bar logo or restaurant logo, and even if somebody keeps it, there's free advertising right there. So anyway, but I've got 2 Singha in the fridge because I knew it was the holidays today. So we got the 2 Buddha holidays today and tomorrow. But like I said at the beginning, if you missed it, the government has so during Buddha holidays, it's illegal to sell alcohol. So I can't go into a 7-Eleven or go to a restaurant or a bar and buy a beer on these Buddha holidays. So at midnight last night, the holiday started. So most places probably closed down right at midnight because there's no point in staying open if you can't sell beer, if that's their main thing. But I read today that the government has decided to be a little more lenient about the sale of alcohol during these Buddha holidays. And what they've done now is businesses so like bars or places where their main focus is selling beer and liquor, they can continue to sell during the Buddha holidays. Restaurants can't sell liquor or beer because their main thing is food. 7-Elevens can't sell takeout beer. But these bars that are just bars that just sell beer and liquor, they can, from what I understand in this article that I read. So that's good news for the beer drinkers. They get to drink on the holiday. So, oh my Buddha, yeah. All right, let's go another 5 or 6 minutes, and we'll see. We got more people on now than we did the whole time. So we'll go as long as you guys want me to. I got nothing planned today. I'm going to do some editing today. I did some videos. I did a video before I left back in December. Did a video with Earn Lucky Girl. I don't know if you guys know who she is. She's um she's a Thai girl living here in Bangkok. She's Isan. She's from the north, but she lives here in Bangkok and she has her own channel called Earn EARN Lucky Girl. So check her out. She's exploded. I did an interview with her when she had like 6,000 subscribers, and now she's over 20,000. So she passed me up like I was standing still. But I did a series of videos with her as far as learning the Thai language. So this is going to take some time to edit because um, it's just going to be very time consuming. So I'm going to start putting that series of videos together. So I think you guys will enjoy it. If nothing else, you'll enjoy looking at her because she's very beautiful. But she's a nice girl, nice Thai girl, and we get along pretty well. So I'm going to start editing those and start posting those too, and then I'll do my grocery shopping video here too, probably this week. How do I deal with the heat? Well, I got the AC running right now. It's been really hot here. Um, Other than yesterday when it rained, it wasn't bad yesterday. And when it was raining, I had my balcony door open, and it was a nice breeze coming through. But it's been like the other day, it was 95 degrees, but the heat index or the feels like was 107. That was the day I walked out. I walked through Benjamin Park, right, like in the middle of the day, like noon. I was about the only person out there. I was the only dummy. I was sweating like crazy. It was so hot. I can't believe I didn't pass out from the heat. But I sweat a lot, but the heat doesn't really bother me to a point where it affects my health. I'm smart enough to know to get in from out of the heat when I need to. The key is if you have to be out, um, try to find as much shade as possible when you're walking because that can make a huge difference. I live down in Samut Prakan area, which is on the south end of Bangkok, and there's not as much traffic. There's not as many buildings, not as much concrete, so it's a lot cooler. I would say it's 10 degrees cooler out here than it is. So, like the other day when I went to Prom, when I got outside, I'm thinking, oh, it doesn't feel so bad out. But by the time I got to Prom, and when I walked out of the BTS train, that heat just hits you like you open and you walk into a walk-in oven. That's how intense it is. I think it's hotter here than it is in Manila or the Philippines. Um, or maybe it's just a different kind of heat. But excuse me, you have those times during the year where it will cool down. So this is the hot time of year. Uh, Once we hit August, it'll start, July, August, September, we'll get into that rainy season. And that rainy season, it'll be cooler. And then like December into February, it'll be nice and cool, just like in the Philippines. It'll be decent. And then when you get into like late January, early February, you get into that burning season, they call it, where they burn the crops up north, and they've been doing this for centuries. But it really affects, the pollution levels will really go up because they do it up north. So Chiang Mai is just almost uninhabitable in that time period in early spring. And it will affect Bangkok too, and sometimes it gets as far south as like Pattaya. But the air quality will be significantly worse in those early parts of the year, like February, March, and even into April. And then it clears up and it's pretty nice. Like right now, the air quality is pretty decent, so I don't have any issues with it. But um, it will tend to give you a hard time as far as breathing. So if you have any respiratory issues, I wouldn't be, especially in northern Thailand and February, March, and April, I would stay away from that. So yeah, the heat is stifling, but there's ways around it. There's a bar. We're going back to the beer thing. There's a bar down on Sukhumvit, just off the Nana exit, and it's on the odd Soe side. So if you're familiar with Sukhumvit Road, the I guess you would say the west side, kind of the west side, are even Soes. So like Soe 4, which is where Nana is, Soe 6, 8, 10, 12 on up. On the right side is odd numbers. So across from Soe 4 is Soe 5, and then it goes up. Now, the problem is they don't always stay uniform. So when you get up around Soe 24 on the west side, and I'm using directions loosely because Sukhumvit Road kind of winds around a little bit. But Soe 24, if you go across Soe 24, it's like Soe 33. And so you get that disparity increases the farther south you go on Sukhumvit Road. But if you're around Soe 5 and in that area, there's a bar called Lek's Last Stand. And Lek is the name of the owner. She owns the place. But most of the bars on Sukhumvit Road, you can sit outside, and they've got fans above that'll blow on you, so that's nice. But you can sit outside and watch the traffic, watch the people go by, watch the parade, that we call it. But when you order a beer there, they'll bring your beer in your little koozie, and they give you a cold, damp cloth to wipe down with. And that is the best thing. I don't know of any other bars on Sukhumvit that does that, but Lex does. So now the beers are a little more expensive, so you pay for that. But boy, that's a lifesaver when you're in the heat for as long as I was doing that video. I went in there and it's like, oh my God, that feels so good. I had to go there and get my cold, damp towel. It was so refreshing. But and there's some places down by the river, down by the different, like the reclining Buddha area there. If you go down by the river, there's restaurants there that will hand out cold towels, or they'll hand out little cups, little metal cups with ice in it. So you put your wrist on it and it'll cool you down when you put your wrist on that cool metal. So that's kind of cool too. Mark Vance, hello, from Montana. Nice. How's things in Montana? I've never been there. That's one of the states that I've never been to. So have you been to Thailand, or have you been to Southeast Asia, Mark? Guys from the southern states I've messaged have no problems with the humidity in Asia. Yeah, it's similar to, I would say probably similar to Florida, or similar to maybe like Houston or some areas in the Gulf there where it gets over 100 degrees. Now, I grew up in Nebraska, and it gets hot and humid there. It'll get there'll be weeks where it'll be over 100 every day, and the humidity will be like 80%. So it'll get plenty hot and humid, but it's a little different here. And I'll tell you why it's different here, why it's harder to adapt here. It's because we as Americans or Westerners are spoiled. When it's hot, we go from the air-conditioned central air house or apartment that we live in to a garage that's connected to our house, to a car that we have remote start. So we walk out of our air-conditioned house to our air-conditioned car. We pull out, we drive to an air-conditioned location, whether it's work or a grocery store or a mall. So we're only out, unless we're out for an activity like swimming or whatever, but we're only out in the heat 30 seconds a day. Every other time we're in these air-conditioned places. So we're spoiled. Here in Southeast Asia, we don't have that luxury because most of us don't have central air. So we're limited to being I mean, I'll be honest, there's hot spots in this house because in this condo because there aren't there's not air conditioning in like my kitchen. There's no AC in my kitchen. Now it's not super hot or anything like that, but we're kind of spoiled. So we leave. We don't have cars, so we have to rely on transportation, either tuk-tuks, bikes, trains, or whatever. But there's going to be times when we're out in the heat more because we have to walk to a destination. So we're out in this heat more than we would be if we were living back at home in the U.S. or wherever. So I think we get spoiled. So we think, oh yeah, I'm used to the Florida heat, but are you really? I mean, it was different. It took a little bit for me to get used to being in this heat because you're out in it longer and you don't have the luxury of being in an air conditioned car necessarily or being in an air conditioned house or whatever. So that that's the problem. That's why you see so many locals in the Philippines or here in Thailand, but especially the Philippines. That's why malls are so big in Southeast Asia because that's a way for people to get out from the heat. They go to the mall. In the Philippines, you see tons of people in the malls, but you hardly see anybody actually buying anything. They're just there to get out of the heat. Once in a while, you'll see them with an ice cream cone or something like that. So, um, yeah, you met. Okay, I got you. Yeah, I understood. Take a Dutchman. Um, yes, I visited several temples in Bangkok. The one I really like is right by the presidential palace. Presidential palace is neat, but go to, and I think it's called Prawat. That's the one with the reclining Buddha. That's neater than the palace. So if you can only choose one, choose that one. The reclining Buddha is amazing, and plus they have got all kinds of other temples there. And just make sure if you're with a girl, make sure she's got her legs and shoulders covered. Make sure your knees are covered. You're not wearing a tank top. Your shoulders are covered. Um, and then you have to take your shoes off when you go into the temples. And there's a little bit of a cost. Now, there's another scam. Say you get in a tuk-tuk or a taxi and you want to go to the palace. They may tell you, oh, the palace is closed today, sir, but there's this other place I can take you to. That's a scam. The palace is not closed. They're taking you to their cousin's place or to a place where they get kickbacks from the cost that you're dealing with by going there. So it's not a scam in the fact that there's not a temple there. It's just that it's run by somebody that they work for, that the tuk-tuk driver, the taxi driver works for and gets kickbacks. So just be aware that if they say, "Oh, that place is closed," it's not closed. Just understand that. Um, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, I remember now. Yeah. Um, sorry about that. I'm looking at your profile picture, but it's so small I can't see it. So, um, but where in Montana are you at? That's what I'd like to know, Mark. Someday when I get back, maybe I'll visit Montana. Irish climate is not great to prepare you for. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Same with the UK. It's just rainy and cold most of the time. What's the best time to visit Ireland or Dublin? Or say if I wanted to go to Limerick or I wanted to go to Galway, what's the best time of year to visit there? Yeah, exactly. Columbia Falls. Okay. Is that like Frostbite Falls where where Bullwinkle Moose lives? um, but yeah, I guess the climate in Montana would be hard to compare to Southeast Asia. Be hard to prepare living in Montana. How did you like the weather, Mark, in Manila? And have you been to Thailand or Bangkok? Okay, we're caught up with our chat right now. I appreciate everybody coming in. I do appreciate that. Um, we've been live for just over 2 hours, about 2 hours and 10 minutes. So that's cool. That's maybe a record for me. Usually my voice kind of dies after about 90 minutes. I've mentioned this before. I was in radio for like 30 years, most of it on air. Um, so I think I used up most of my voice. um, and so it gets weak after a while. But that's why I come to the Philippines when it's winter. Yeah, absolutely. I love the weather in the Philippines. Yeah, so you're coming back there. Um, December through February is a great time to go to the Philippines or anywhere in Southeast Asia because the weather's nice. Um, you get the Christmas vibe, um, which is really cool, especially the Philippines. Philippines outdoes any other country, even probably the U.S. for celebrating Christmas. It's BGC is just amazing during Christmas time. But you know what? Thailand has their moments too. Even being a Buddhist country, they still celebrate Christmas and they do all the decorations. Now it's more commercial than it is religious, as far as celebrating Christmas here in Thailand. Vietnam does Christmas really good. Da Nang, I love being in Da Nang over Christmas. They do they're mainly a Buddhist religion there too, but they do Christian Christmas there. You hear a lot of the Christian Christmas carols or hymns there in Vietnam, in Thailand, and in Thailand. Not so much in Thailand, I guess. Most of their music is commercial, just like in the Philippines. Most of the music you hear in the Philippines is commercial, even though they're a huge Catholic and Christian community there. I've been to Bangkok one night. Were you humbled? I wish I could make that my theme song without getting demonetized. It can rain any time of the year in Ireland. Best time would be the summer months. September is mostly nice in Ireland. Nice. What's the temperature like there? Is it cold? Is it more warm in September? Is it like mid 70s or something like that? Phil L. Hi, JJ. Use an agent to do the retirement visa for you. Use their money for the deposit. It will cost you about 1,200 US for the first year. That includes opening a bank account, 500 renewal. Oh, that's not bad. I will look into that. Do you know? So I'm going to hang on a second. I'm going to put my email address up, and if you can email me, Phil, let me know a good agent or a good agency to work with. That way, I don't get scammed. But if you know of any, definitely let me know. But that's my email address right there. JJ the Lonely Bull in Asia at gmail.com. But anybody feel free to message me there. If you're planning on making a trip out here, I'd love to meet up with you. 25 Celsius is the hottest it gets in Ireland. You're going to make me do my conversion. I don't know what that is. I know it got up in the 40s here. So I know it's not hot. 25 is, I don't think it gets down to 25 in Thailand, or at least in Bangkok. Maybe on occasion. So let me do the conversion here. What's 25 Celsius? So I'm still not used to living in Celsius here in Southeast Asia. Or do you call it? That's 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, that's pretty nice, actually. That's about what it is in Da Nang during the winter. It gets 77 is about as high as it gets, and it gets down into the 60s at night. So it can get quite chilly. And in that rainy season, it can be a little chilly. So, but 77, I can handle 77. Yeah, I heard that. So maybe who's the MMA fighter? Um, I can't think of his name off the top of my head. He's running for president there. Maybe maybe he'll make things change when he gets in, if he gets in. Colin McGregor. Colin McGregor, I guess he's running for president in Ireland. I don't know if he has a Chinaman's chance. Um, yeah, Conor McGregor. Yeah. I don't know if he has any chance. I don't have my thumb on what's going on in Ireland. I saw a video, a YouTube of him the other day or a while back. He's running for president. So who knows? Stranger things have happened. But cool. All right. Let's see. I think we're going to give it another few minutes and then we'll call it good unless we get more chat, more questions or more comments on my chat. But it's been fun. This has been my probably the most fun I've had on a live stream so far. I haven't done a lot of them. I may start doing more often. Would you guys be okay with that? Would you, if I do them like weekly? Like, is this a good time on a Sunday morning here in Bangkok? Is that a good time for you guys? Very low possibility of becoming. Yeah, that's why I figured it'd be like me running for president. What are the chances, right? But would you guys tune in every week if we had a decent topic to talk about? Or I'd be all for more live stream. Oh, cool. I got one. Just you and me. Is this a good time of day to do it? Like I started at 9 this morning here, so just over 2 hours ago. So it's 11:14 here in Bangkok right now on a Sunday morning. So is this a good time for you guys? Seems like we got a pretty decent turnout. We're at 22 right now, so I'll be interested to see what the analytics show as far as how many we had total, how many people stayed with us, and how many people bounced in and out. But we can do it at any time, really. It's not like my days or nights are filled up with anything important. I'm retired, right? But this just seems like a good time. I have my coffee. I get up. I usually wake up around 5 or 6 in the morning. So I usually get up, check my emails, respond to any comments on my YouTube channel, and then just plan my day. I watch some YouTube to get ideas, and then 9 o'clock rolls around, and I do my live. So if Sunday mornings this time works for you guys, I'm cool with that. We'll keep it at Sunday mornings. But yeah, whatever you guys want, I'm cool with. But I think we'll probably call it a day. Good time. Oh, good. Awesome. All right. We can start later if you want, or we can start earlier if you want. Doesn't matter. Maybe next week I'll start a little later because it looks like we've got more people on late than we did early. But of course, you just never know if people are getting notified of my live stream or not. I got another question before we get out of here, before you guys book out. How many of you are subscribed to my channel? I'd be interested to know. Or if you're not subscribed, put a 1 if you're subscribed, put a 2 if you're not subscribed. I'll be interested to see how many of you guys are watching that haven't subscribed yet. Just curious. And no judgment. you know, I don't always subscribe to the people I watch. Um, I try to, but you know, sometimes I think I am, but I'm not. Um, which is, you know, weird. Sometimes I thought you know, there's some channels that I was like, I was sure I was subscribed to that, and then I'll look and I'm not. And I've heard these stories that YouTube will unsubscribe people for, and I don't know if there's any truth to that or not. Um, but I've heard those stories. But I appreciate you guys subscribing and appreciate you guys watching. Um, always appreciated. And I think we'll just call it good for now. And let's see. I'll do my out here. And till next time, watch for my next video. I think I'll probably edit today and post it tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then the next day. So I'll have a new video posted soon. It'll probably be the grocery one, so you guys can get an idea of the prices of getting groceries here in Bangkok as compared to where you guys are at. But and then we'll do another one next Sunday. We'll see you guys then. So until then, live life. Talk to you again soon. Bye bye.